Today's topic about networking on and off LinkedIn is something that I, quite frankly, need a bit of a refresher on, especially with the off LinkedIn part. That's because I'm going to the Innovate conference in Owensboro, Kentucky, starting literally tomorrow, which means I'm on the road for 3 hours tomorrow just to get there. Welcome to the Making Sales Social podcast, featuring the top voices in sales, marketing, and business. Join Bryn Tillman, Stan Robinson Jr., and me, Bob Woods, as we each bring you the best tips and strategies our guests are teaching their clients so you can leverage them for your own virtual and social selling. Enjoy the show. Welcome to Making Sales Social Live, coming to you from the Social Sales Link virtual studios. I'm Bob Woods, social selling AI and LinkedIn strategist, consultant, and trainer, as well as a LinkedIn top voice. Joining me today are the co-hosts. First is fellow social selling and LinkedIn strategist, also our sales navigator, grand poobah, Stan Robinson Jr. Hey, Stan.
Hey, Bob. Can't remember the last time I was called a grand poobah. Very cool.
Maybe never.
Back in the Flintstone days, I think.
Exactly. And the voice that you just heard is LinkedIn Whisperer and the authority on things related to sales, social selling, and LinkedIn, as well as an official LinkedIn insider for sales, Bryn Tillman. What's up, Bryn?
Hey, guys. Excited to be talking about today's topic.
Yeah, so am I, because today's topic about networking on and off LinkedIn is something that I, quite frankly, need a bit of a refresher on, especially with the off LinkedIn part. That's because I'm going to the Innovate conference in Owensboro, Kentucky, starting literally tomorrow, which means I'm on the road for 3 hours tomorrow just to get there. And I am looking forward to it. Don't get me wrong. But just like probably a lot of people out there, I'm a bit rusty on the off LinkedIn networking thing. So, I'm just I'm gonna absorb as well as participate. And I think that we can all use a refresher on networking on LinkedIn as well, because it's always good to just kind of reiterate things and just making sure that we're doing what we need to do. So I think we should just get to it now, Bryn.
All right. What's our first topic?
First topic is we're going to be dealing with some stuff on LinkedIn first. And the first thing is profile. So how do you work your profile into networking?
Well, so the first thing I'm going to say is when you go to a networking event, you get dressed. If you're a woman, you'll put on some makeup. Maybe if you're a man, you'll put on some makeup. But you get ready, you put in shine your shoes, and, you're going to look the best. You're like, oh, I got to shine my shoes. You're going to show up and look the best that you can for the event. Well, guess what? We need to do that on LinkedIn too. And our profile is our, how people see us. This is our brand, our professional and personal brand. So we want to make sure that you look through your profile and kind of go through like as if you were the person networking with you. Get into their shoes, right? If they would look at this, right? Because we're going to connect with all these people, and your profile is what they're going to have moving forward that reminds them of you and how you met. So what does your banner look like? Do you have a good headshot that actually looks like you? Do you have value in your profile? Are you offering insights that can help them understand a little bit more about you and what you offer? Because as you connect with all these people off of LinkedIn, like in the real world, you're bringing them back to the LinkedIn ecosystem.
Exactly. And one of the prime places to provide that value is in your featured section through your posts and things like that. So if your posts have value, you should have plenty of potential content to put into that featured section, especially if it's like newer and fresher. And this is where I go back to my produce section analogy for the featured section. Just like in a grocery store's produce item, you don't see a lot of lettuce that's wilted and veggies and fruits that are brown and stuff like that. It's all fresh, it's all vibrant, and it's stuff that people want to eat, want to consume. They find value in it. Oh, that's the first time I've ever used that analogy. That's a good one. And your content should be the same. It should be new, it should be fresh, and it should educate, add value. Be about the topics and subjects that your audience of prospects wants to hear about, and not what you want to talk about. Stan, do you have anything for that? Anything else for that in terms of the profile?
Yep, Bryn already touched on the photo and just making sure it looks consistent. Because just imagine, we'll be talking about meeting people at live events and probably looking at each other's LinkedIn profiles together while you're standing right next to each other. And just imagine the disconnect if your photo is 10 years or 30 pounds ago and the person's kind of looking back and forth. So yeah, please do that. And I always suggest that people make sure your contact information makes it easy for people to actually contact you. So don't use a Hotmail or Yahoo address, and make it easy if people want to contact you and they know to go to your contact information.
You should probably be putting that in. You should probably be putting that in the about section too. At the end of the about section, contact me, email address, and a phone number that you don't mind having public.
Yeah, and you can get a Google number if you don't have one, if you don't want to give out your cell. The interesting thing, and I love that you said this, because you would not go to a networking meeting and hand someone a business card without your email and phone number on it. So why are we connecting with people on LinkedIn without our email and phone number accessible? So I think that was a great ad. Thank you.
Very much so.
All right,
Very
number two.
Number two, search by content. And this has to do with posts specifically.
Stan, you want to start with that?
Well, I was going to let you all start with that, because when you say search by content, so
okay.
I just need context.
Oh, fair enough, since I'm the one that put this list together. I need context. No. So I believe it's, you go into the search and you hit enter, and you can search by posts, not just people or companies.
Yep.
So when you search by posts, you can search by specific people, by your first degree connections, even by topic, I believe. But I think search, maybe not.
Definitely keywords. Definitely keywords.
Keywords. Okay, there you go. Keywords. Yeah. So ultimately it's, and finding content around the topic of whatever you would network on. Now, I'm going to add to this, if you are actually going to an event and they have a hashtag for that event, stick that in and see how many people are using that hashtag, and not just on LinkedIn, on X or Facebook or Instagram. Like, use that hashtag to pre-network, right, with people. I think that was what I meant, now that I remember.
Powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So searching by content is important for a wide variety of things. But I mean, especially if people are posting about the event that you're going to, you're going to want to engage with that. In fact, with the thing that I'm going to tomorrow, the Innovate conference, one of the organizers who's a friend, he posted something today. So I have it scheduled to go out later myself, but I am also engaging in the comments, at least liking, if not engaging with everyone who is posting in there as well, because he also mentioned me, because I'm also going to be a panelist on one of the panels there as
How
well.
Fun!
Yeah.
Have them take lots of pictures.
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely.
That's awesome. I love it. All right, what's next on our list?
Next, coming in at number 3, I feel like Casey Kasem. Ring bells and Casey Kasem. Ring bells and engage. So ringing the bells. So this involves going to the person's profile who you want to engage with and ring their bell, which is in the top section. When you ring the bell, it works like ringing the bells or adding notifications at other social sites. You'll be informed whenever they post content, and then whenever they post content, engage with that content.
Anything you want to mention around that, Stan? How do you go about finding people to ring the bells of?
Yes, that is a great question. The last person I rung the bell of was someone who was doing a webinar that I was just on around AI.
Okay.
So, yep. So went to his LinkedIn profile. He's got like 25,000 followers. So I said, okay, let's start by getting notified when he posts by ringing the bell. And I was just looking to see there are two choices because you can choose all, and then I forget the second one, maybe most
the second one.
Relevant?
Or
yeah, I'm looking right
now. I can't
now.
remember the exact word.
All most relevant. So there's most relevant personal, which is personalized based on your activity, or off for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So it's like level 1 is most relevant. Level 2 is anything and everything.
Yeah, be careful with anything and everything, because I believe if they just like something, you're going to get notifications. So I think you want the relevant when they're posting, and that where you want to engage.
I would actually like that.
That's it. If they are a high prospect and temporarily you want to do all because you're really trying to engage, I think that's a great way to do this. The other thing I would do, if let's say you're selling into a larger company and you've got one champion that you're working with, but there are 6 or 7 other people that you want to be on the radar of. Go in, you may not be a first degree connection. So if you follow them, the bell will pop up. Follow them and start engaging as they share. And then you can connect. Really enjoyed the content that you've just shared. I'm, in conversations with Joe, and I'd love to connect if you're open. And now it's like, oh, what are you talking about with Joe? Right. And so you're engaging and networking internally. The other thing is go ring the bell and follow and engage with potential referral partners or joint venture partners, folks that are selling into the same people you're selling into, but are not a competitor. And so now that's a great way to engage. One of the things that I typically recommend, and then we can move on though, is to go to all of your clients and say, so for us, a sales trainer or a marketing company are great referral partners.
Yeah.
So if I go to a client and say, who are you using for your website? Who are you using for your email campaigns? Who are you using for your graphic design? Who are you using for sales training? And I meet their vendors. I want to engage with them and with the people that are engaging with them, because they're attracting the same types of people we are. So networking on LinkedIn. What's next there, Bob?
Next is engaging via events. So this is when people are listing events on LinkedIn. This could be virtual. This could be real life. It depends.
Yeah, I think the concept here is find events that are attracting your ideal prospects. Attend if you can, but you can see who's attending and you can engage with them and connect with them based on the fact that you're both attending an event. Now, where do you find this? On your homepage, your newsfeed homepage, not your profile, scroll down on the left-hand side and you'll see events, click through, and you're able to find some that way. Also in LinkedIn, you can search that top bar. Mm-hmm. Just like we talked about searching for posts, you can now search for events. And so you can put in, like right now, if I look, there are 538,000 results, But if you go to the top and let's say I put in AI, that takes me down to 28,000. Now,
Yep.
you can use Boolean search logic. So if I put in AI and LinkedIn, it goes to 2,100.
Yeah.
So,
AI and sales goes to 1,500. Yep.
oh, what if we did AI and LinkedIn and sales?
Sales. Yeah.
We go down to 239. So start to use those keywords that are attracting your buyers, and you get a list of events that you can then use for networking on LinkedIn.
Next, groups. And the reason why I say groups is because, like that, I should say, is because groups ain't what they used to be. That being said, there are good groups out there. You just got to find them. But once you find a group that's really good, hang on to it and, engage within all of the opportunities that that you have, which is mainly within posts and things like that. Post yourself as long as you're within the guidelines of the group. Sometimes groups have guidelines that you can do certain things and you can't do other things, but take advantage of all of those so that you're better well known within your group, and then take advantage of connecting and networking with those people at that point.
I love that. Do you have anything good to say about groups, Dan?
It's funny. There was very little until Saturday when I listened to a podcast talking about groups, and there are different schools of thought in terms of groups.
Oh, sure.
As Bob said, the key is there are good ones. It's just hard to find them. Unfortunately, LinkedIn doesn't make it easy for us to find them. But one way you can find them is if they're influencers that you are following or people of interest, you can look at their profiles, see what groups they may be part of.
That's an excellent suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
So that is one. And some of the smaller, either local or very specialized groups that are relevant to you and your audience, it may be worth just investigating them, see how active they are, see how spam-free they are. Groups that are actually moderated are much better when you've got a moderator who's actually trying to control the spam.
I love that.
And you can become a big fish in a small pond in the
Yep.
right group.
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of taken the concept of micro influencer to almost the next level, because you already have that group built in there. You don't need to build that group of people who you're trying to influence, because it's already there. You just need to really take advantage of what's already in there.
Brilliant. Love it. All right, what's our next one?
Welcome messages. Using networking for welcome messages. I'm going to throw this out to the group. Anyone for 200 points and a brand new car.
I feel it. Welcome back, Cotter. Oh.
That's an OG reference if I've ever heard one.
Yeah. So welcome messages. These are opportunities when someone connects with you, especially when they're looking to connect with you. First of all, find out how they found you. You might say that at a networking meeting. How did you find this group? Right? Find out, how did you find me? And then you can invite them to an online event, even if it's not your own. Just say, hey, if you found one that you're networking in, what a great way to say, hey, I'm going to this event. Looks like you're interested in the similar thing. Let me know if you're interested. I'll send you a link. And we're going to invite them to a networking meeting on LinkedIn if they're local. I mean, I'm part of my local West Orange Chamber of Commerce here in Essex County, New Jersey. And when I meet people in person, I invite them to a local event, a networking event, because I want that to continue that networking. So you can do this on You can definitely do that online as well. So I think welcome messages are a great opportunity. Ask them what they're interested in. Ask them, where you might be able to support them. Ask them who they want to network with. Consider opening up. You say, curious, who are you looking to meet? Then, there may be people that you can introduce them to, and then maybe they'll ask you who you want to meet. So treat the person on the other side of that message the same way you would if you were shaking their hand and meeting them in person.
Amen.
Yeah,
Amen to that.
For the live events, Bryn, one thing that you said, because a lot of times when we're rusty as far as live events, it's okay, how do we start conversations? And what you mentioned about simply, hey, is this your first, Linden Chamber event, or have you been coming regularly? Just as simple as, how did you find the group? How do you like it? Boom, you're into a conversation.
So I'm going to just share. Well, this is an in-person event, but we had a networking event at a Cambria hotel the other day, and my son, who is interning for a company called 1847 Financial, Penn Mutual, right? So I said, come with me. I paid his $20. I'm like, I have to buy him dinner anyway. Anyway, he started meeting people and talking with folks. He doesn't even have the job yet. And funny thing, he met someone who used to work for the guy he's going to work for. And they taught, and so they found this in common. And then Josh was like, hey, he connected with me on LinkedIn. And so even a 21-year-old kid can do it. You can too.
I love it. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Yeah. So let's get to, we've actually got another 7 to go here. So let's start cranking through these things really quick. Number 7 is take inventory of your current first degree connections. And you do that with an export of your search. We've gone over several times. You can export your connections directly via LinkedIn, or you can or you can do a search of your connections on LinkedIn without having to go through the export and download the CSV and all that stuff.
I like the export for a couple of reasons. You can miss a lot of people in searches. Number one. Number 2, you can create a column on your CSV Excel spreadsheet and categorize them. Often we call it CPR, clients, prospects, referrals, but it's also breathing life back into our connections. So, take a look at who, you are already connected to that you're ignoring. That would be great to network with. Quick story, we had a client, a recruiter client, I think April of the pandemic, who at recruiting, no business, and she did manufacturing, exported her connections and found an old client was at a healthcare facility and was able to put all those people to work that were laid off. And she never would have known that without exporting and taking inventory. So it's a great way to see, where are people now? How do you reach out? Who do you want to network with? And just figure out who you already are connected to.
Yep, 100%, 100%. Anything else, Stan?
Nope, that's great. I learned that one from Bryn, one of many things. So that the gold mine in our own backyard.
That's awesome.
Yep, exactly. Next one, don't sleep on video messages or audio. You talk about really establishing a one-on-one relationship with someone. That's obviously, it's not, it's going to be more of a monologue than a dialogue, but still, rather than just sending a text message, you send them an audio where they can at least hear emotion and hear what you sound like. Or if you want to take the next step, send a video message so that they can see you in the eyes. They know that there's a real person there. It ain't AI, in other words. And just use that even for simple messaging to reconnect with someone. I think especially it's good for reconnecting because, you might have changed since the last time you spoke, looks wise or something like that, or it's just really good to just see someone else's face when you are communicate or when they're communicating with you. And audio is good. I think video is even better. You'll also stand out because no one is still doing video messages. It's been around for how long now? No one is doing it.
We are.
We are. No one else is.
It's so we have over 90% response rate. So
Yeah.
if you're trying to re-engage and network with your first degree connections that you've now taken inventory of, send them a video message. You will get a response.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Next one is live stream and audio rooms. Guess what? If you're watching us live on LinkedIn or any of our other channels right now, this is a live stream. There's also audio rooms available on basically on LinkedIn as well as on X, the former Twitter. If you want to go to Clubhouse, you can do that as well.
You're still in business?
I'm sorry?
Are they still in business, Clubhouse?
I was really trying to not go there, but anyhow, anyhow, those are great ways because again, they can either see you just like you are on the live stream right now. Again, it's not a two-way conversation necessarily. That's something that you can actually pick up with an audio room whereas they're not seeing you, but you can invite them up on stage or whatever it's called. I'm not sure what the nomenclature is, but you can have conversations with people and have an audience and really build relationships. We've built relationships here on Clubhouse when that was a thing, and Brent and I were doing that type of thing. It's entirely possible, not just possible, but likely that you can build relationships with live streams and with audio rooms.
So we have people, which right now, because I'm watching this come over, who are liking this post, right? This audio.
Excellent.
So you can engage in comments. So I look here and I'm going to call Chuck Budd, one of my buddies, Jude Martin, Stephanie Sides. I mean, they're all engaging now. I believe that's what it looks like.
Neat.
And you can go into chat and literally have conversations with other people, not just us, right? So that conversation area is absolutely fantastic for networking.
Yep.
So that is where you may not have the natural two-way conversation. You can have that conversation in chat. Every Saturday morning at 8 a.m., Mark Hunter and Meredith Elliott Powell run Sales Logic. I try to make every single one if I can, and I actually got to guest host 2 weeks ago. There is so much conversation in the chat. I have met people that I've invited to be part of our podcast. I have a lot of networking right inside of that chat. Audio rooms, you can also click through and connect with people that you're listening to. Amazing networking opportunities.
Very good. Very good. So, oh my God, I lost my place. Here we are. And the last one, just with the more LinkedIn specific stuff, is voting on polls. And I think that this is important, not necessarily from the poll standpoint as much, although you obviously want to see people vote on the polls. But one of the options that you offer with polls is that choice number 4, other, sharing comments. That's right. Other, parentheses, sharing comments. That's where the networking comes in, because hopefully people will be motivated enough to start sharing their opinions and comments. You go back and start talking with them in comments. If you're not connected to them, you can connect with them. Hopefully start a sales conversation at that point.
And by the way, it doesn't have to be your poll. Go find the polls that other people are running, and you can network with their people too.
Excellent. Excellent stuff.
Awesome. So we have quickly in person. I think we have 2 or 3 pieces.
Yeah, in person. So this is where I'm going to take notes.
Okay.
Because I got my thing coming tomorrow. So here we go. Quick fire. Round 1.
So I'm going to Quick fire. So you're going to your event. We're going to do this one-on-one, Bob. You're going to your event. I want you to write in advance a little message that says, great meeting you at X event. Well, I forget the name of it. What is it?
Innovate Conference.
At the Innovate Conference, I'm looking forward to continuing our conversation. Bob, now you can either put that in short code or copy and have this pasted. Then you are going to walk around with your LinkedIn app open, and there is, if you go to the top search, there's a little QR code where you can click on the QR code, and there's 2 tabs, your QR code and a scan. You do have to allow your camera to have access to it. So once you do this, if someone scans your QR code, they're going to go right to your profile. If you scan theirs, you're going to go to their profile. Gunnar Hood, in all his genius, said, have them scan your profile and ask you to connect. Once you, then now you have control of the accepting versus it just sitting in there, I haven't accepted in forever. And once, as soon as you accept, you type in their name, paste, send your welcome message. Now you will always remember where you met them. When you go back to your inbox, you can see, because it's in your inbox now, since there's a message, that you can now see where you met. And you can even search all those messages by Innovation Conference, and they'll all come up. So then you can go and follow. Go ahead.
I really like Gunnar's thing because not only are you taking control of the conversation at that point, you're also teaching them something. You're teaching them how to do it.
Right.
You're adding value, which is exactly what we do. And even though you probably don't sell LinkedIn services like we do, they will at least look at you and think, this is the person who taught me how to do this. They obviously are, good people because they didn't have to do this for me, and yet they did.
I love that. I love that. And then, make sure you're following up. But I love the idea of just saying, I'm looking forward to continuing our conversation.
Yep.
It's generic enough, but also personal enough at the same time.
Yep. Absolutely. So, networking is crucial when it comes to building a business or a sales book, no matter what kind of business or sales that you're involved in. So now, if you're like me, you're much more equipped when it comes to the networking in person part. And we all have been reinforced on what we should be doing on LinkedIn, thanks to our stellar panel that we have here. So thanks again for joining us on this episode of Making Sales Social Live. If you're with us live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, or X right now, we do this every week. So keep an eye out for those live sessions. If you're listening to us on our podcast, it means we're recorded. So go ahead and subscribe or follow us so that you can have access to our previous ones and be alerted when the new ones drop. More info on our podcast is available at socialsaleslink.com/podcast. So when you are out and about this week, or as I will be doing in the next couple of days, like a lot, make sure that your sales are
social.
Yeah, we're really getting that one nailed. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Don't miss an episode. Visit socialsaleslink.com/podcast. Leave a review down below. Tell us what you think, what you learned, and what you want to hear from us next. Register for free resources at linkedinlibrary.com. You can also listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and Google Play. Visit our website, socialsaleslink.com, for more information.